Hello Year 6, welcome to Wednesday's maths lesson. Today's I can multiply fractions. Again, this is something that we looked at just before half term. So it's multiplying a fraction by a fraction. The keys to success: multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So on the screen I've got my first example, 1/3 multiplied by 2/4. So first of all, I'm going to multiply the numerators. 1 times 2 will give me a numerator of 2. And then I'm going to multiply the denominators. 3 times 4 gives me a denominator of 12. So my answer is 2/12. Okay, the next question, I've got 3 9s multiplied by 2 6. I'd like you to pause the video now and just have a think about what the answer to that is before I tell you. Okay, hopefully you did 3 times 2 gives 6, and 9 times 6 gives 54. So our answer is 6/54. Okay, you might also come across some questions that look a little bit more like this today, so a bit more problem-solving style of questions. So I've got a fraction where they've given me the numerator but not the denominator, and then one where they've given me the denominator but not the numerator. So to solve this, I've got to think 1 times something gives me 6. Well, 1 times something to give 6 is going to be 6. So the missing answer there must be a 6. And then I've got something times 4 gives me 8. Well, I know that 2 times 4 will give me the answer 8. So the missing number must be a 2. Okay. Now you've seen me do that one, I'd like you to pause the video again and have a think about what the answer would be to this question then. Okay, hopefully you did something times 2 gives 22, and that would be 11. And 9 times something gives the answer 72. And hopefully you got the answer 8 for that. So overall the answer is 22/72. Okay, another style of problem-solving question. We want to know what fraction is missing there. Something times 1/4 gives 1/8. Exactly the same idea. Pause the video and see if you can work out the answer. Okay, hopefully you did on the top something times 1 to give the answer 1 would be 1. And on the bottom something times 4 to give the answer 8 would be 2. So 1/2 times 1/4 is 1/8. Some of the questions that you come across in the maths.co.uk test today ask you to find the answer, but then to write the answer in its simplest form. So I'm just going to talk you through how to do that now, because actually that's a little bit tricky. But finding the answer is exactly the same as what we've just done. So find the answer to 2/8 times 2/4. I'm going to do 2 times 2, which gives me 4 on the top, and 8 times 4 gives me 32 on the bottom. So my answer to that question is 4 32s. Then I've got to write that in its simplest form. So I'm just going to write that there, 4 32s. To write something in its simplest form, I have to find the highest common factor of both of these numbers. Now, if you remember, factors come in pairs, and they're numbers that times together to give a number. So first of all, I'm going to find the factors of 4. So I'm going to write 4 at the top there. My factors of 4. Well, 1 times 4 gives me 4, and 2 times 2. Oh, not 3. 2 times 2 gives me 4. They are my only factors of 4. Then I'm going to find my factors of 32. So how do I make 32? Well, 1 times 32 2 times 16. I'm going to extend my page. I can't do 3 times anything to give me 32. It doesn't work. 4 times 8 would give me 32. I can't do 5 times anything to give me 32. 32 isn't in the 5 times table. It's not in the 6 times table. It's not in the 7 times table. It is in the 8 times table, but I've already got that there. Okay, so my highest common factor then, so the number that appears in both lists, well, 1 appears, 2 appears, 4. 4 then is my highest common factor. So if I divide both the top and the bottom by 4, I will get the answer in the simplest form. So I'm going to write divided by 4 there and divide by 4 there. So 4 divided by 4, so if I've got 4 and I split it into 4 equal groups, I get 1. And then 32 split into 4 equal groups gives me 8. So in its simplest form, the answer to this question is 1/8. Okay, there's quite a lot that I did there to get to that answer. So you might need to rewind the video and just play that bit again if you do. I've got another example here that I will show you with. Okay, so again, I'm multiplying the fractions. So start by multiplying the numerators. 5 times 2 gives me 10 on the top. 9 times 5 gives me 45 on the bottom. So the answer to that question is 10/45. Now the second part of the question asks me to write that answer in its simplest form. So to do that, I need to find the highest common factor and then divide by it. So the factors of 10 are 1 and 10, 2 and 5. 3 doesn't go into 10, 4 doesn't go into 10, and 5 I've already got, so I must be done. Now I'm going to find the factors of 45, where I can have 1 and 45. 2 doesn't go into 45. 3 does go into 45. And if I'm not sure what 45 divided by 3 is, I could do a little bus stop just to find out. 3's go into 4 1 time, 3's into 15 5 times. So 3 and 15. 4 doesn't go into 45. 5 goes into 45. 5 times 9 gives me 45. 6 doesn't go into 45. 7 doesn't go into 45. 8 doesn't go into 45. 9 does, but I've already got it. So now I've got to look what my highest common factor is. 1 appears in both lists. 2 doesn't. 5 appears in both lists. So 5 is my highest common factor. So I've got to divide the numerator and the denominator by 5. So if I do 10 divided by 5 on the top, and 45 divided by 5 on the bottom, which will give me 2 9s. Okay, one final question for you to have a go at then, before you go on to doing your maths.co.uk tests. Okay, can you find the answer to this question and write it in its simplest form? So if you'd like to pause the video now and have a go, and then I will show you my answer afterwards. Okay, hopefully you've had a go at this question. So on the top you would do 2 times 3, which gives you 6, and on the bottom 6 times 4, which gives you 24. Then you want to find it in its simplest form. So you'd find the factors of 6, which are 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. And you would find the factors of 24, which are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Hopefully you can see from that the highest common factor then is 6. So I have to divide both the top and the bottom by 6. So 6 divided by 6 gives me 1 on the top, and 24 divided by 6 gives me 4 on the bottom. So in its simplest form, 6/24 is 1/4. Okay, if you'd like to have a go at the work on maths.co.uk then, it is all to do with multiplying fractions by fractions. As I said, quite a few of the questions do ask you to do this simplifying and find the fraction in its simplest form. So have a go.